Welcome to My Psychic Connection, where we have in-depth discussions about many popular mystical topics and interview with gifted practitioners from all walks of life.
Well, good evening and welcome to My Psychic Connection. I am your host, Journey Ryan. We are here with Miss Holly, of course, and we have a special guest here, our dream interpreter friend, Marin. How are you?
Hello. Hi.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Oh, it's going to be a fun show. I can't wait. We've been talking about this all week, Holly and I, about bringing you on board. And this is our first show where we're picking a topic and actually talking about some things. And tonight is dream interpretation, and you're going to walk us through some of that. I'm super excited, possibly have some of my own questions. And I'm pretty sure that we have a group of people here that are going to want to hear those questions themselves or have some questions themselves. And Legene, hello, Legene. How are you doing tonight? Happy Thursday.
Hey.
So we're excited. Holly, how you feeling tonight? Hi, Leanna.
Hi, Leanna. Hey, sweet pea. I'm doing great. I have my friend of over 20 years with us, and Marin and I have been through a whole lot together, and it is so good to have her on this show. She is a wonderful, wonderful person and very, very knowledgeable, and I can't wait to let her share her knowledge with us, because she's super bright and wonderful.
I'm very excited about this.
Thank you.
So, Marin, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are we doing here tonight? So tell us about you and what you do.
Well, I've been involved in dreams for probably over 25 years, and
Wow.
I'm a member of the International Association for the Study of Dreams. It can be quite scientific, but I like to look at the dream story. So what I was hoping to talk about tonight is, during these scary times, during this pandemic,
Right.
people have had scary dreams. And, things like bugs coming in, invisible, kind of scary things coming in, which is kind of like what the virus is. But what I wanted to talk about is the dark figures. So some of the common dream themes that people have, and I wanted to talk about some examples of common dream themes. So one would be a woman's, her husband would go away on trips, on business trips, and every time that he left, a recurring dream happened when the dark figure came into the bedroom and was standing at the foot of the bed. And this happened every single time. And so she asked me, what can I do about that? And so, not really knowing the situation, I said, ask him. Just ask this figure, why are you here?
Wow.
And so actually she did. And it turned out that he never showed up, or the figure never showed up again. And so what I would suggest is that the waking self wasn't really acknowledging the dark side, that wasn't really acknowledging the fear and the worry of her husband leaving. That during the day, she was like, have a nice trip, see you in fall. And when he left, that at night, she was actually secretly scared. So this dark figure would come and say, you know what, you need to acknowledge that. Your waking self needs to acknowledge it. So as it turned out, the figure never came back. Another common dream theme that I've had clients explain to me was was this young man would constantly go to like a pond or a lake area, like a small, and it was real dark and muddy and slimy. And every time he went, zombies would come out of the water.
Oh, wow.
And this was a reoccurring dream. And so I would ask, what in waking life do you keep returning to that's dead, that you just need to let it go and let it die? Or what in waking life needs to die, or are you trying to save someone? Are you associated with someone that's taking you down, that is now you are becoming the zombie? Is it bad habits? Is it an addiction? Is it, people who are vampire people who suck the energy out of you,
Right.
and make you zombie-like? So, the dreams have such a beautiful language. They basically tell you what you need to know, especially the reoccurring dreams. The reoccurring dreams are, you know what? You didn't get it the first time. Let me tell you about this again. And it'll keep coming back until you face it, until your waking self connects with the dream world and says, I got it. Okay. Another common dream theme, and I'm just going to, I'm just throwing all this out there for those of you that have children and your child comes to you with a bad dream. So this 10-year-old had a dream about spiders, those Harry Potter spiders,
Yes.
those really big, huge spiders. And again, it was a reoccurring bad dream. So basically, I just said, ask the spider, why are you here? Why do you keep coming into my bedroom? Which the bedroom is supposed to be a safe place. So this spider just constantly, came in at night in her dreams. So finally, she's only a 10-year-old, so she saw the spider again. The spider was behind a dresser. So she came out, and the words could not come out because it was so frightening.
Right.
But at least she came out and looked at the spider, and then she woke up. So basically, I said, welcome to the web of life. And the spider never came back. So what I'm trying to say is there's medicine in the bad dreams. There's nightmares, there's trauma dreams, there are all kinds of, hot sweats or cold sweat dreams. But there is actually a message, a medicine that the dream world is saying, you need to wake up to this because we're going to talk about it again. And so that's what I have about reoccurring dreams. What in the waking life, perhaps, are you not really paying attention to? Because dreams will talk a different language. Dreams are symbolic. So if you have, for example, dreams of ants crawling up a wall, I would ask, are you feeling antsy? You got ants in your pants? Or could it be, if you've had to clean a 10-lane highway from your pantry, ants are not my thing. However, ants are also team players. They work together. So then I would ask, in waking life, is there something that you need to ask for help? Is there a project that we all need to work together on? Do you need to ask for help? Or do you have ants in your pants? Are you feeling antsy? So the context of the dream would depend on how you're processing in your waking life. they say that dreams are different aspects of our own psyche.
Yeah.
They're different aspects of ourselves. Even though we dream of other people, and I can say that when people have dreams of celebrities, what is it about the personality that comes through the television or movie screen that represents something, someone in your life, or an aspect of yourself? So anyway, I just want to throw it out there that dreams are fascinating language.
Absolutely. I completely believe in dreams. I have done some interpretations of my own when it comes to dreams, and I've tried to help people realize that, you know, even when it comes to a bad dream, it's like there's a trauma that comes with the dream that's letting you know that this is bothering you so badly. That's why the dream is becoming so much stronger, and why you remember it so much more than you would your everyday dreams where you're just processing the day's thoughts. Like you said, they're sticking with you, and they're moving. They're giving you this message like, hey, you need to fix this. And if you don't get it the first time, you're going to have a repeating dream where it says, let's make it more traumatic. We got to make them realize what it is that's sticking out. And you got to figure out what those messages are within those dreams. And it's great to have people like you, yourself, that are able to see that and interpret that. And when you said something about the ant dream, and you said it was a line going up the wall, it, to me, when I was just picking this up, and the way I was seeing it as well, is that there was another message along with that. It's like you need to get things in a line and start moving forward and stop holding yourself back, because if you lose that trail, you're going to lose your progress. You're not going to go up anymore. So it was just
Absolutely.
so that was like this. There's like another message along with the message that you had, because the ants represent a certain thing, but there was a pattern in how they were walking, and they were going up. But if you stop and lose that pattern, you're not going to be able to get up. And so you need to cut those things in your life out so you can continue to keep following everyone else and going in the right direction.
Yes, and even when people have dreams of, for example, snakes, I mean, snakes can be very frightening. But then again, snakes are transforming. You know, snakes shed their skin, and they're very transforming. It represents new life. Or even like bugs. People have dreams about bugs and beetles, and, you know, beetles, right? They roll up the excrement,
Right.
and they process it to become new. We have to keep this, respectful. And, you know, they process and make things that are new. And I can say that a recent dream I had was about scarabs, was about the scarab beetles, the ones that roll the
Yes.
certain waste material.
Yes.
And, you know, there's a disembodied voice that said, don't touch them. They've been poisoned. And so what the dream self was explaining is, it's just not time yet. It's not time yet to go outside. Just take a little bit more time, because the beetles or whatever it is in nature is still processing. And so there was a lot of wisdom in this particular dream, even though it was kind of sad because the beetles were dead, but still it was a signal from the dream self that said, just wait, because really, I think we're all sick of this. Although the wonderful thing is that I can connect with you all.
I love it. I love it.
It's been an interesting time. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi,
Marin,
Jeannie.
What would be, have you had, hey, Jeannie, what would you, I know that you have lots of clients, because of COVID, what would be some of the more common dreams that you're hearing about that people are trying to process this new normal now?
Yes. There have been dreams from, you know, just the regular people that have dreams of hidden bugs, that are swarming. But there are also dreams from first responders. Has no mask and no gloves. And so they know that they're becoming infected. So those are trauma dreams of of darkness and fear that when they're going to go somewhere and they're trying to help somebody, they're going to be infected. And the conflict is in the dream self. The conflict is, I shouldn't be here. I need to run. But then there's still that, but I need to help. So there's that real conflict of, I've got to run, but I can't run because I'm of service. I want to help. So they're trauma dreams. Invisible. I mean, this virus is basically invisible. And so there's, again, locusts. I mean, just invisible little bugs that are coming, and people can't wipe them off fast enough. And so they're trauma dreams like that. But the wonderful thing is that the dream self, and I talk about the dream self and the waking self, because when we start to understand each other's language, then we get the symbols. We get it. It's like, oh, I see. I'm having this dream about wanting to run, but wanting to heal. And that is the waking self conflict. And so the dream self says, it's okay. It's all right. You feel both of them. Feel both of them. And help. It's scary, but you are of service. So the dream self helps to organize, what the waking self is going through. That's kind of how I look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Can you, you mentioned earlier about
Fantastic question. Thank you for asking that. In disturbing dreams, there's a tendency for people to want to wake up. No. They just want to wake up. And it's before you go to bed, think about the intention of going into this dream and kind of the mindset. You're kind of getting into, I might have a disturbing dream, but I'm going to hang in there. I'm going to hang in there. And then have a journal by your bed. And even if you wake up, you might wake up through half of it. Then maybe a few nights later, you'll wake up 3/4 of the way. And then maybe a week later, you will actually stand and face this dark figure, and you'll actually be able to ask the question. So it is a practice. And what I have advised people is during the day, I mean, a lot of people will say, well, I don't remember my dreams. Well, I don't remember some of my dreams either. But it is a practice that during the day, you kind of focus on something, you see a leaf falling. Focus on the leaf. Just have this intense focus and then let it go. And then before you go to sleep, focus on something. And then that is a practice where the dream then becomes more visible and the brain will be able to hold on to the dream images. Because a lot of times when we wake up, if I make a sudden movement, oh, that dream is gone. It's like this little, like, oh, I missed it, and it's just this. So if you wake up slowly and then you write down just a snippet, then you'll be able to go back into the dream and remember, oh, it was at the end of the bed. Oh, yeah, I saw a picture next to that figure. Oh, yeah, they were wearing a jacket. When you go back into the dream, then you'll start to notice more detail. And eventually that practice allows you to actually stay with it. Stay with it. Because, like I said, there is a tendency for, this is a bad dream and I've got to wake up. No, 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 no. Try and stay with it. Okay.
Nice.
Alrighty. Yeah, this is fascinating.
I love it. Because like I said, I do some
You have a
interpretations
recurring dream?
myself.
Journey,
What's that?
do you have a recurring dream?
I do have a recurring dream. It's kind of apocalyptic is how I consider it, because when I go into a dream state, I wake myself and I'm even in a place that I don't live, but I was there for a little short time. But I'm in Seattle, and as I wake, I find myself on the floor. I get up. There's nothing in the room. It seems only certain colors are shining, like blues and greens and yellows. So I see a lot of those, but the rest of it's kind of like a dim brownish light, kind of like you would see in like the old silver screen colors. But there's no furniture, there's no people, there's no animals, and it's just quiet, absolute quiet. So there's nothing. The buildings, you can tell, are a little bit in decay. So it seems as though that everything's kind of just falling apart. And I don't know how long I've been sitting there or laying there knocked out. But I wake and I start walking through the city and there's just nothing. No cars, no people, no trash, just leaves. There's tree leaves. There's like anything natural, it's there. But if it's like plants and stuff, that stuff's there. But as of animals, it's the people, it's all gone. But if I continue to keep walking, and clearly it's a dream, so I'm going from one state to another, I actually start picking a few people up here and there along the way. And I have this dream all the time, but it's always when I meet somebody very significant that has these incredible abilities that they're hiding from the world. And the way I interpret the dream is that I find these people along my way and I know that they're coming. So when I do meet them in person, I bring them out to the surface for everyone to see because they're scared to shine. And that's how I interpret the dream. I mean, you could add something to that if you'd like. I would love to know what you thought of that dream, but I had it right before I met Holly. So, so she's one of those people along the way that I met, because Holly and I have only known each other, 4 months, 4 months?
Yeah, August.
Yeah.
And then August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
You had that dream before you met me?
Yep. And you were hiding in a closet.
We're not talking about closets right now. Okay. Go ahead, Marin. You were going to say?
Well, there are two amazing things that I would bring up. And the first one is, what does Seattle represent? What does that environment represent to you?
The future.
The future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I'm noticing as well are the colors. Because when colors show up in dreams, it emphasizes that point. So the colors blue, for example, truth, purity. You mentioned what other green?
Yes.
You know, greens of healing, of earth. You know, browns would be earth. So when colors come into dreams, it emphasizes the dream story, the dream images.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with, for example, numbers. When numbers come into dreams, and especially if there's zeros on the ends of the numbers, the zeros emphasize the point. So, for example, the number 1,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the number 2, the 3 is a spiritual, you know, the triad. The number 4 is stability, although in different cultures, the number 4 represents death. So you also have to kind of look at the background. But there's people that have dreams of addresses, you know, like 1230 First Street or something like that.
Right.
So I would wonder what's happening between age 12 and age 30. If you add the numbers, 1, 2, 3, it comes up with the number 6. Does the number 6 mean? So it depends on the context of the dream and where it takes place
Mm-hmm.
when these numbers or colors come up. And thank you so much for, you know, mentioning that dream. I had a dream of a woman with brown platform shoes, and there was red at the toe. And so, you know, this was during the Me Too movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the platform shoes,
Yeah.
and then the red, the blood, the truth of the matter, the essence, the blood of the matter. So these colors were coming up during that time, and it was emphasizing a particular point. Generally, we dream in neutrals, in grays, you know, and sometimes a shot of yellow or a shot of green will come up. And I would pay attention to that. I would definitely journal that.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
These, you know, like I said, I met you along the way, but I did want to mention when I left Seattle and I walked away to find, because I knew it almost felt like callings to go to these certain places, but I found Holly in Utah.
You found Holly in Utah.
That's in the dream. Well, I didn't know her name was Holly. I just knew, and the people don't look like people. They're gray images. They have no shape. They have no face. It just seems like it's energy and soul. So I connect to that.
Yeah.
And from there, we walk together and we find others just like the people that I'm finding. But in my dreams, I've never found another person like, say, what I look like. I've always seen them as the silhouettes of the grays.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, happens to me all the time. Every time I meet somebody new and interesting and someone that's going to be long going in my life. And I do it all the time.
So it's beyond the physical form. It's beyond the skin,
Right.
the table. It is the essence of our spiritual being that you have the ability to see in the dream self.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something. In fact, that is even something that you can revisit, that you can embody.
Yes.
You know, going back into the dream. And it's like a meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is this, what more can the dream self reveal? Is what kind of emotion, what kind of feeling, what kind of senses would you feel from these figures, from these shapes, these undefinable shapes?
Yeah, see, because when they show up in the dream, like I said, I can hear them, but they don't have to talk, and I can see them, and they don't have to walk, but they do follow, and I'm thankful, and we're excited. There's a lot of excitement, and we're. It's almost like I'm strong when I'm strong when I'm alone, but when I find these people, not only do you connect to that person, you connect to their social, spiritual family. So it branches off to seeing these others that I just feel like in the dream I'm connecting to the real psychic energies, to these people who have these callings that need to be seen or need to be heard. And I love doing that for people. That's why I took 2 years off from my show to go to these other shows to help boost ratings and things like that for people and have a lot of fun. And they love it. I love doing it. And that's how Holly got, on board, and she started her show, and I jumped on there and it was like we were playing and having fun and doing readings, and it was amazing. But that's, right before we went into the ambassadorship, that's where I had that dream, and I was like, someone's coming. And then I got into the ambassadorship program, and I looked around, and I was like, okay, I don't like you. You're okay. And who are you? And that was Holly. And I was like, so her and I started chit-chatting, and I was like, we're going to like each other very much. We seem to be on the same page.
Yeah, most of the time. Most of the time. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, like 99% of the time.
Very pretty. 99% of the time, yes.
Yeah, we got that 1% where she likes to try to mother me.
Yes.
We're not going there either tonight. Let me see. Can I mute his microphone? I don't have that power.
Oh dear.
And you shall, unless I'm on your show doing this. Then you'll have the power. So, so now she's going to invite me to her show just so she can mute my mic.
That's an idea.
No, we're good. We're good.
No.
So I'm seeing here in the chat room, we got plenty of people in here. Has anybody had anything that stood out in their dreams that is something that's consistent that they constantly see? And it could be recent or it could be from past, but something that, when you have dreams, it's something that you constantly see. Because there's something that I noticed in dreams that there's consistency on certain things until you figure out what they are in your life. So I'd like to see if anybody has something in their dreams that is consistent but we could possibly help them with. Because with the three of us, I'm pretty sure we could help you out. So if you have if you have a question, please ask. That would be wonderful. I would love to see that. I love finding out that fascinating stuff.
We're here, and that's why
What'd you say, honey?
We invited Marin because she's very, very good with that.
Absolutely. I love the information that we just received. There's a lot of clarity and helps people understand. I love that. Knowledge is power. I've always believed that.
Marin, tell Ryan about dream interpretation with Tarot. This is amazing. Listen to this, Ryan.
All right, I'm ready.
You will be all over this. Okay.
I'm on it.
Okay. I think I can speak about a client that I had, and they really had a hard time, verbalizing the images that they were dreaming, and it was kind of the astral projection. It was the soaring through the universe, and it was kind of frightening. So what came up was the the eight of wands or something, where the wands are flying through the air.
Wow.
And so, you know, they, I didn't, you know, I just let the dream come in. You know, I'm not reaching in and pulling the dream out. I'm letting it come into the room. And so the person put down this card, and it's like, I'm, you know, they were starting a new venture, they were starting a new business, they were starting a new relationship, and things were going forward. Things were starting to happen. And that's when the card, they were able to bring up, you know, what the issues were. A person brought out another card that had, for example, a purple amethyst. And, you know, it was, they didn't want to say something, but that amethyst was saying, look at it. There's some healing here. And so it became, oh, I get it. The dream was trying to say, look at this issue, and it actually is solid. It's being represented by an amethyst or something to that effect. So sometimes, you know, I'm certified in Tarotpy, and this is it's kind of a psychology. It's kind of like what's it called? You know, when the ink blot. It's like ink blots where you're putting down a tarot card, and you're looking at the images. What does that spark? And it's like, oh, this part of the dream has a singing bowl in it. Oh, yes, there was sound in the dream. And maybe the dream is saying, you need vibration. You need that vibration that will help ease this tension, you know. So sometimes when in some of the dream groups that I host, you know, they can't remember, or they just remember a snippet, and they'll put down a card, and the dream starts to unfold. The image brings up, you know, these other issues that perhaps they were not noticing. So yes, we definitely, I love using tarot images in talking about dreams as well.
That's interesting.
So it sounds like that. Yeah, that is interesting. It sounds like the tarot is almost like the key to unlock them.
Yes, it's like a door. Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. It's, you know, it's kind of like, I just, and the woman that had the crystal amethyst, I don't know, I forgot what deck it was, but for some reason she chose this particular deck. This particular image came out, and it was, oh, it's the healing part of whatever that issue was. So it just kind of snaps it into focus, or it helps to snap it into focus.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Ryan has a bunch of decks too. He uses, and I do too. And it's interesting. There they are.
Yes, absolutely.
On my wall over here. But it's interesting how the universe or spirit or whatever you want to call it, if you sit still and listen, will direct you to the right deck and then to the right card, and then it's, you know, so it's basically just like holding a key, which is very much the same way that we do readings, and because it's all about allowing the universe and the situations to come in and represent themselves in the cards.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, even cards that, you know, I'll be shuffling along, and one or two will fall out.
Oh,
it's
yes.
Like, don't, you know. So, all right, I'll put those down. They fell out. I might as well use them. And it was like, oh my God, facepalm. That was the exact card that needed to jump out of that deck.
It always is
So,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
I always tell everybody it's the secret message that you're not paying attention to.
Absolutely. The the physical body, the brain, the ego brain sometimes, you know, um, clouds it.
Yes.
It kind of clouds what is going on. And like I said, the recurring dream, the dream self will keep knocking at the door and say, you got to pay attention to this one. Just kind of look at it again. There are dreams when people are falling. Those dreams where
Yes.
you're falling. And so the questions that I ask is, were you pushed? Are you in waking life, are you being pushed into something that you're not really comfortable with? Or are you jumping voluntarily and you're feeling that roller coaster G-force? And it's like, is there something in waking life that you should take a chance on? Think about it. Think about taking that chance. And then there's the part of the dream where, you're starting to land.
Mm-hmm.
So are you landing and then swooping up? It's like the situation, oh no, I can't do it. Wait a minute, I can. And then they swoop up. Or are you kind of slowing down and then you gently alight on the ground? And it's like, it's not so bad. Okay, I think I can handle this project. The other issue is there death in the dream? Do you actually fall and smash down and die? Or as a general theme, people have died in dreams. What in the world can that possibly be? My suggestion or my thought is, what is it in waking life that has to die in order for you to wake up to what the issue really is? What is it? What falsity just needs to get rid of it in order to be woken up into the facts of the true facts of the matter? And that's what dying in dreams, at least that's what the medicine that I've been able to, grab a hold of when I've died in dreams. It's like, oh my God, what? And, you wake up kind of disoriented, But actually when I journal about it, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. This habit or this situation needs to die. This relationship, this issue, let it go. And that's because when the dream reoccurs and reoccurs, you keep falling, and then at the end you finally die. That dream is saying, wake up. Wake up to this dead issue. So that's another healing part of a scary dream. But again, there is a lot of medicine. There's a lot of healing that can happen in our dream life.
Absolutely. I believe that very, very. I feel it's the way we process, it's the way we understand, and the things that we don't pay attention when there's so much noise in the world. You're paying attention to everything else. The dreams help you try to focus on the things that you need to either accomplish or get out of your life. So your dreams are very important. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't dream. Well, everybody dreams. We just don't always remember what we're dreaming about because it's just a process that your mind's going through. It's kind of like, you're rebooting for the next day. You got to process what you've been through and then go. And some things don't stick out, so you don't remember when it comes to dreams. And I notice a lot of people saying, well, I don't dream. Well, actually you do, you just don't remember.
Yeah, it has to, it's a practice, as with everything, with meditation, with any kind of art or skill, it's a practice. And once that practice becomes second nature, then the dream snippet starts to become a little clearer. So that's why I've always, in the classes that I've taught, I have people bring dream journals. And even if they write down, I saw a tree in the middle of the road. So at least it's something.
Right.
Okay, what does a road mean to you? What does a tree mean to you? And then the dream starts to develop from there.
Nice. Yeah, that's
They're very nice.
The thing is
Yeah,
like, I always tell people too when they talk about their dreams, it's like, well, what stood out the most? Was it something that was a different color? Was it something that was like, what did you see that was unique or caught your eye? Something not, don't pay attention to what was going on. I want you to pick out the one item that you noticed that was just shining more so than anything. Was it a color? Was it a lamp? Was it your shoes? Was it your hair? Was it the person in front of you? What stood out the most? I said, because that's going to be your first issue that we need to work on. That's step one.
Yes. And again, it can develop from there.
Right.
It's asking the question, because dreams mean different things to different people. Depends on the context. And so, again, I bring up spiders and ants. They can be either annoying and I want to just spray the heck out of them all, or they really can mean teamwork and, getting together. And so, yeah, depending on the context, dreams of buildings and houses, generally a house represents our body, who we are. We eat, we rest, we eliminate, so when, and I'm going back into the scary part of the dream that I just thought of this thing here. There have been dreams where a stranger is coming in to the house. So then I would ask, in waking life, is there someone that you're just not comfortable with that's coming into your personal space? It's kind of a warning. It's kind of one of those, something is just not right about this particular situation. So the dream is now saying someone is coming into your personal space. Dreams of losing your wallet, your purse. Would that be your identity? Your wallet and your purse and your personal items really represent, your ID, your driver's license, or whatever that is.
Right.
Are you losing it? Are you misplacing it? So what is it in waking life that, your identity is being compromised? Who is compromising it? Are you doing that? Are you compromising your identity? So, like I said, things like that just really, I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're trying to help them interpret what's going on with them, and to ask certain questions like I do as well. What stood out the most? Let's start there. Even if it's just a color that stood out, and you're like, the whole room was blue, everything was in blue. Okay, well, let's start with blue because that's apparently the biggest focus, and then we'll kind of lead into what was the second thing that you noticed that was the strongest, and we'll kind of go down the line, and it's fun. Like I'm kind of self-taught on that. I haven't taken a course, but as I was self-taught and kind of started, like, because I could read, I got the hidden messages behind everything. So I started to interpret these things, and and then I started seeing what was happening in their life, which was being trying to be processed through their dreams. And the other thing here too is that it's not just what you're psychically now, I'm going to add the psychic part since I'm talking about it, is that I've done this, I do this a lot. Dream about something that's about to happen, but the way the dream comes is, it can be traumatic actually, because it has to prepare you for what's to come. So now your emotions are up, the nerves in your body are prepared for something, like they're bracing for something, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're prepared for it. You know how to handle it. You handle it well. Sometimes you may not, but you handle it to the best of your ability, and then you kind of think about it later on, like, I knew this was coming. And the reason you knew is you've seen it in your dreams. It's not the only place that, this is where people get premonitions too. They get their premonitions in their dreams.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, it's because you can't get them while you're awake because you're too busy. So you're not paying attention to the messages that are being brought to you. So they're brought to you in your dreams while your mind is quiet.
That is such an excellent point. Those are precognitive dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And, even though in a mundane kind of world, I mean, I hate to say mundane, but
Mm-hmm.
the dream body does move forward.
Yes.
And the dream body will astral project, or, will visit other realms and will come back to give you that information. Absolutely. And that's when, that's so exciting. It does help to prepare you for a particular issue, for a particular event. I think those are treasured dreams.
Absolutely.
I've been able to describe an area that I've never been to, and I could describe it down to the tree and the fence, and someone will say, oh my God, it's this particular area, and I've never been there. But there was something significant about that particular area.
That's awesome.
That person was able to discover. So absolutely.
I love it. Now, Holly, we've been talking about dreams and we've been talking about different things, and we didn't ask you, is there any type of a reoccurring dream that you may be having and would like to discuss with us?
I have a reoccurring dream that's kind of like the stranger at the end of the bed, but I actually wake up and the stranger is actually standing at the end of the bed. And then I scream my bloody head off.
The stranger is what? I'm sorry?
So I have the dream about the person at the end of the bed. I have that quite often. And the problem is that I wake up and they're still standing at the edge of the bed.
So do you pull them out of the dream? Is that what you're doing?
Honey, I don't know. That's why we had Marin here.
So what I'm wondering is, what's the message? There's a message that's crossing over. I'm wondering, I guess I'm just seeing it as a messenger. And I think I would contemplate that, because if it's a reoccurring dream and it comes in the hypnagogic way, whereas, because a lot of the dreams happen during REM sleep, or rapid eye movement, and a lot of that happens during the last cycle, and that's what we can remember. So as we come out of the dream, and the dream figure, the dream image is still there, it's kind of like I was just explaining something to you, and now I want you to really, it's kind of a continuation of the story. And so I would just wonder, I'm sorry, I get animated.
No,
hey, it's okay.
Knows me way too well. That's just
Okay,
part of
excuse me.
it.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that's why I was, okay. And that's why I would wonder, what is the significance of the message? And only you can determine that. You know, I mean, even having a council meeting with a dream figure. In some of the dream groups that I host, I actually bring in the dream image, and we will have it as a branch. We'll have it as a pencil, you know, a paperclip. Whatever it is, we'll bring in that dream image and start asking questions. And this is the psychic part of it, I would say, that kind of intuitive. The dream image is trying to communicate whatever, you know, whatever that is. And I know that maybe you can explain it a little better, but it's a feeling. It's a feeling that, you know, it wants me to do this, and I'm resisting. You know, it wants to explain.
Marin.
Oh,
Marin,
yes.
I hate you right now. You do know that, right?
Thank you very much. I'm feeling the
Okay.
love. Yes, and I love you too.
I love you too. Okay.
But, you know,
this is, yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Answer the door, Holly. Answer the door.
You know, in a general sense, you know, people will bring in different aspects of dream. And so I actually have advised counsel, you know, what is it that the rock wants to say to the paperclip? You know, what is it that the candle wants to say to the branch? And believe it or not, it is just, it's a conversation that really, you know, if you listen, it starts to come up. And you know, with practice, again, it's a practice. You can hear the purity of it as opposed to the ego of it. So there's, you know, there is a separation. The ego self wants to believe, oh, you know, I'm going to skydive, you know, but the spiritual part is saying, maybe it's this project or this job or this relationship that would like to soar, you know, something to that effect. So a lot of it for me is listening and journaling and re-embodying, you know, going back into the dream and just kind of meditate on that and what's coming up. And we have to be really clear on that because there is a tendency to embellish, right? I mean, it's hard not to. So if we, you know, if we're quiet and we can start hearing the dream language come forth.
Nice.
Is this where you say I told you so?
Yes.
I'm just grateful to be here.
Absolutely. I love that you were here tonight.
90 seconds.
But ladies, as much fun as this is, we've run out of time tonight. So it was
Are you serious?
yeah, we're already at that British lady yelling at us, telling us that the show is almost over.
Wow.
So
Wow.
60 minutes done flew by. It was so much fun. I'm so glad that we did this.
I am too.
Marin, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and you can come back anytime. I love the dream interpretation. I love what you've been able to tell us tonight. And if you have any information you'd like to share with us, let me know. Send me an email, and we'll put it out so people can get ask questions and things of that nature.
Thank you so much. I truly love the subject. I can talk about dreams all night, literally. But I thank you.
No pun intended.
I do. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Lisa.
Sorry, Lisa, we ran out of time, honey.
And
We'll bring her back so you guys can talk to her and ask some questions about your dreams. And we'll do that here really soon, okay? Well, thank you, Marin. Thank you, Holly. It has been a pleasure talking with the both of you. Dream interpretation is so awesome. Join us again tomorrow night. We're going to be here at 10 p.m. Eastern. It'll be Holly and I doing some psychic readings. We can't wait to talk to each and every one of you.
Yeah.
And we will talk to you soon. Until then, this is Journey Ryan signing off. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
bye.
From all of us at My Psychic Connection, we would like to thank you for listening today. To speak with us live, go to mypsychicconnection.com. Our psychics are live and waiting to hear from you. Until next time, have a blessed day.